everybody. This is Epiousios. This is G for Play. This is Bender. We play Pax Dei. In fact, let's kick on now. What are we doing tonight? Well, it takes a little while for the streams to get uploaded. So if you catch it live, good. Now, there we go. As I mentioned before, Steam did me a favor. Anybody else, I guess, and gave us the option for everybody. Everybody I have. These are all 7 of me, and they are to play Pax Dei. They have played other games in the past, and we could discuss that in the future. But this time, we are all about Pax Dei. Now, you will see me in a couple places in Pax Dei. Just in case we haven't covered this before, and you are looking at the 7-day trial, which is basically what these 7 days are about. It's things I haven't talked about in a bit, and I no longer have, the back. Pax Dei changes as we move forward. So to recover the basics is necessary from time to time. Game versions and betas. We have the Arcadia public test server, public test shard, if you like. I thought it was a server alone, but a shard. Anyway, all that aside, then you have the default public version, not default public shard. No idea. But this is a whole world. You enter one of these, you have 2 North American, you have 2 European, you have 1 Asian. That's the default public version. Arcadia was supposed to be in Iceland, but maybe they moved stuff around. Anyway, we're going to the public. Let's go public. Let's play. Flip that off. Now, I have the desktop up. Good. I better start doing it. As we jog around here and we go in to Pax Dei, I have created a small video that's about purchasing in Pax Dei. And while I will cover a little bit of that here, because my shader cache is reloading for places I haven't been, I did dump my shader cache just in case, and it preloads. Ooh, a little bit of clipping there, a little bit of texture build up. Ooh, that's a lot of clipping. Someone was talking about how if you had different size and weights of characters, you have to have different, you have to adjust the materials and the clothing, and especially the weights of the clothing. Plus, without the hair here, you can see the hood, and with the lighting better, it's not so stark. Things have changed quite a bit in the R47 patch. I have talked about that before, but there was no hair. Garrettina hair with this on top, of course the hair can go through it and you won't be able to tell. We cannot turn her around. Less clipping here, but these are 2 different outfits. Now, I used to play Second Life, and we used to hand make this inside an engine that allowed you to make everything. In fact, you had to, because the Lindens made nothing. So anyway, so I know a lot about that, but not coding it into existence, not coding the materials themselves into existence. That I do not. So let's hit where we were before. We were in Tolosa last night. We're in Tolosa again. Now, one thing on the previous program, you notice the notifications came up. Well, I went on site and archived those. Therefore, I do not have them popping up anymore. Oh, let's go over to the Petrame. So in Tolosa, which I've been in Tolosa a lot, on different sides of Tolosa, I started verse 3 in Tolosa. Over yonder a ways, by the penitentiary. Oh, the tower changed. Garrettina died up here last night, then rose again. We don't have the little recovery animation within the home valley anymore. Something to notice? you won't have it floating there because you had to erase it before, even though there was nothing there for you to reclaim. Unless you're in the wilds. You gotta build your whole building based on the steps. That's what I've done. I start with the steps, and then I create the whole building behind it. What else can you do? Oh, look at that. See, writing on the wall? Nice. Right? I like it. I think about it. Look, you can make chemical, you know, the diagrams, the chemistry. Now, one thing I'm doing is start. How you doing, Willie? I turned my latency on my chat down so I can hopefully catch you as you post. I forgot to do something the other night. It was reset my home. I'm not sure if in verse 1 we could reset our homes. I thought we could, then we couldn't. Very good, Willie. I pray everything is going well with you. These are interesting times. But I've read past newspapers. All times are interesting, I'll tell you. These seem to be more interesting. This is the worst Petrome in any home valley. I remember Marky Dragon, Marie, Innis, not Innis Gallia, was it? Maybe it was Innis Gallia. The Gallia that's internal. Now, can we click on this? Can we do something with it? I'm trying to figure out, how do you reset your home? Because I haven't done it. Can you... See, I'm over in Asterak. I want to be in Tolosa. Get more grace, travel. I'm already there. It takes me 20 to travel there. What a ripoff. How do you change your thing? That's something I need to learn. Can't click on it. There's no E. No E. Oh, hold it. Is there the other thing? There's the other interactable. Have you done this before, Willie? I pray every time I log into Pax Dei, my cluelessness leads me to something. View inventory. No. Where is it? What is it? Can't we do it? How do you reset your home? Now, why do I think I can walk up and click it? Well, I'm sorry, what did I miss? What did I miss? It was on the wrong side of it. So as we were. Well, looky there. I can set his own shrine. My goodness. Okay, we don't have Southpaw. That's my primary complaint about mainframe. I could whip up the interview that was done 2 years ago now with Dana. D-A-N-N-E-H. He did a good long interview. And it had Peter, and it had Rainier, and it had the funniest thing ever said in chat during the beginning. I have 6,000 grace on Celine. 6,000 grace from purchasing it or just saving it up? Because that's a lot of grace. I have not used grace for any harvesting blessings. Let me see, it's official. Look, I'm not going to return to Armanhack on accident while expecting to be other places. Oh, something. I didn't have time because I got home late. When I renewed the plots here, last live video, which still took till sometime early today even to process, but that aside, I mean, they are providing a free service, but it told me as I renewed these plots with the tokens I had, 10 less than I have now, plus 3, Anyway, that I did not have enough to renew all my plots. And I was like, well, I have plenty, right? I had plenty. So I was like, what's with that? Well, because it was calculated the plots I have between the test server, which you do not see when I log in, and, well, what else could it have meant? I'm trying to think of it. Well, putting up the video, it's the one with Garrett taking flight on the front, or an AI, a simulation of Garrett, very much less, anti than Garrett is. More of a universal female. But I've been making fun. I dove off that cliff right up there. The first step, I still hit the bottom with just a minimal crunch, but I landed right on the road. I gotta look up the image. I tried to take an image, but I was too busy laughing. I don't think I did it right. Safrina. Safrina, Safrina. Banished Knights, right? Hello, Safrina. You seem to be... Oh, God, I hope you're not stuck. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll just keep walking. I'm sorry. In Second Life, we'd catch people half-rezzing with no clothes on, but they had all the physics. You didn't want to linger too long. My clan leader has 10,000 grace. There are people who have played so much more than me. I am not. I would never say... I had 300 videos, probably one TIG. That's probably why they canceled me out. I had one TIG of stuff, and nobody was watching it. But they're like, get out of here. Anyway, try it again. So anyway, we begin again. But, right, I think all my hours total might just be over 2,000 in all the accounts. And I think I'm one of your more common players when it comes to how much time I can spend in Pax Dei. Which is pretty relevant because I can't, well, I'm not, I barely, okay, except for wood cutting and mining and a couple other obvious things. Do I need more flax? Yes. We showed damage last night. Man, it took a chunk out of all that gear. I'll tell you, the Home Valley damage is still real. Hello, piggy, piggy. The Banished Knights removed their emblem on the cliffside. Actually, I think I've seen a lot of people not keeping those plots they just held on to, the just-in-case plots. A lot of people are running out of that just-in-case plot thing. And I'm seeing, well, okay, I could show you quite a few images in Second Life that could help you overcome insomnia, but it's of, hey guys. Of course I don't. I'll throw flaxseed at you. That ought to be killer. These guys go down with wood arrows. The pheasants go down with flint arrows, I think, right? Flint arrows. The wood arrows don't do enough damage. They'll just fly away with an arrow poking their bum. Do I need more plantain? Going shopping. I do need flax. I do need to do flax things. Is this the point, fixing flax? No, I'm walking by it. Don't just walk by things. I guess. Maybe. You. No, not you. I don't have enough room in my stuff for you and your business. It used to be a lot worse with the boar. Worse. Not really. It used to be different with the boar. You'd actually skin them. Get the skin. Get the carcass. And you would also get a little jar of soot. Or if on a deer, you would get guts. And the other one, and tallow, and you would hush, come on, I'm trying to be quiet. But you would get those, and of course you would get bone. Go away, go away. You would get bone, and you get hooves, and you'd get your little bit of wool from the boars. So while hunting boars, You could pack, just depending on how things went. One more. Yes. But you could fill up like 5, 6 spaces in your inventory. Hello, geese. It's good they fly all different directions. I mean, they're not going to like yell at each other, to the left! And then they disappear rather quick before it gets just too irritating. Well, those are going off for quite a ways. There you go. Into the clouds. Although the clouds are, never mind. It's a game. What are you going to do? How much coding are you going to do for that? And that's what it comes down to. There's two types of developers. Me was thinking to myself the other days. When it came down to... Someone told me on Discord, why can't you ever say anything nice? As if they've read everything I've said. I mean, really, I guess I only reached the not as nice as I could be 5% of the time. 5% of the time. Yeah, oh, you jerk. Really? Oh, I got ours. Inventory. I'm just checking my inventory while killing a boar. That's how meaningless the whole adventure is. Yes, might as well get the skinning thing. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oops, 5. Still, you get 5 different things when you go hunting. Before you got the suet. Oh, I got 2 rough animal hide now. Because, what, am I up on skinning? Am I so cool? On the skinning? Skinny dipping? Yeah, level 10. I get 2 skins. And your carcass, which you then harvest for the suet, more bones, meat chunks, and whatever else. Well, what, man, you know, in verse 1, I'm going to be going back and forth here, because this is a little bit of a thing. Things were different. We also didn't have to pay for plots. So your level of tolerance was much higher. Everything was very blurry, very dusty. You know, things weren't baked in, which they might not be quite even so now. But basically, as I've said before, the idea of quivers. And you're not going to have 50 arrows in a quiver. I just want to start that conversation right there and finish it. We have stacks of 50. No one will be happy with quivers. Oh, now I got to put 10 into my quiver, and then I run out, and I got to go into my inventory and reload my quiver. Now, they already said they're not satisfied with a horse because of leg clipping, I think was the idea behind the animation. But Peter has said recently some comments about what a horse would be like, which would just double 2 lines of your inventory, not the horse. You're not going to have saddlebags. You know that. You know, he didn't imagine that far ahead. That's just all he said. And that your stamina will be increased, or you'll have, because of the horse, a higher stamina. Whether the horse has the stamina, or you, because you're carrying these 2 extra lines of inventory. Now, if you know, something takes out your horse, because it runs out of stamina and a bunch of boars or whatever, the Soul Brothers or something get their hands on your horse, right? You are now going to be encumbered because you have always been and were carrying those 2 extra lines of inventory. Now, whether Peter has thought through how do you fill these things, do you just grab things from the horse as you're walking? Because that's how he did it in Myth of Empires. You couldn't overload yourself. Well, I guess you could walk to the horse encumbered. We did that, and then you could mount on the horse, and you can move on the horse much more freely. So these are all very interesting things, and if you go back to that Dana, one of the first things Peter says is how they've looked at games in the past and seen how they can't repeat or see how something will work or not work. They can't see it. You know, there's no game like Pax Dei. At the time, Brave New World, there was this kind of Greco-Roman one that quite a few guys liked because you could just build your heart out. I never heard much more about them. They're still around. I could probably look them up. It just takes so much time. Spinning wheel. So, too bad we can't do... I've crowned out linen string. crowned out. Do I have a container for? Well, because you need flaxseed now. I'm at least building it up. I'm building it up. They said they changed the way the circlets move on the storage. I'm just not noticing the difference. Hold it. Are you over there? No, I need a different one. I don't have time to rehearse or do this well-produced little thing. I am going to be producing a little bit of thing to just demonstrate how the pay structure of Pax Dei works and the different things and fill in, but that will just be mainly for this trial week. You see, the ironic thing about the trial week is that, well, 800, you got to look at the gray line on the Steam DB. When you look at the charts for Pax Dei, that bright line is kind of a big hope thing, but that average line, the gray line below it, which is usually 100 below it, depending on the scale, larger games, of course, larger gaps. But when you hear Peter, and I'll be doing that video later, just on the payment scheme, but I'm not gonna, I have to block stuff and not show off my information, because of course it's there. There's not a streamer version of the web page. I will also look up where Mainframe has explained why payments aren't going through Steam. Steam isn't made for reoccurring payments, as you said before, Willie, Exolia. And, you know, there I show that Garrett was paying for Exolia from until just this month. Which I stopped from doing it because I was, well, I think it says this month, and I got to make sure, because my bonus, I used to call it Founder, but it's not Founder anymore, right? It was kind of the Founder thing. So anyway, just Premium. I remember when they had Premium written up in a little green thing up there. And I had noted during the video I made about that, how that wasn't a good look. And I don't know who else said it. I just don't know. Maybe quite a few people said it. But that disappeared, which is that's a good choice. Because it's just, it was bogus. It was bogus having just Premium. You know, I don't dig that. It's just because you want to, you know, earn a little bit faster and you're paying for it, you're paying for it. And I don't see how it's premium exactly. Coarse and linen, I balance them. Need that craft all button, don't know what I'd do without it. Might have arthritis. Well, you're using it, yeah, but you know, you feel stupid if you don't. See the trap? Getting dumber. Just dumber. It's the stupefying of America. Stupefy! Think less and less. Linen. Now, on the other guys, I take advantage of everybody having to go through this, so that I don't, once I have it crowned out with one character, I just remember to make it with another character who just has no experience at it. Using multiple characters is just for my fun. Because I could have 4, 8, 12, 24, 28 plots. Well, Grace didn't exist yet. That came later. And then we had to start paying for plots. But there was a wipe. So, you know, it's not like you said, oh, I have to keep my stuff. I better buy plots. That's what's different about this trial deal. And that's why I'm highlighting what you will be spending. Yes. You know, how much you'll be spending if you want to keep your stuff. And that's important. It should be right up front there. One thing that was right up front with Peter and Rainier in the first 6 minutes of that Dana interview, I think it was the first 6 minutes, those geese are very sensitive. I got to rebuild my walls. I don't know about, doing building stuff while streaming. Once I found out what I wanted, it's got to be a more open design. I just needed the form and the height. I need to get the height even with the road stuff. So I just kind of built it up so I can make it all even. And then I can start doing things with the walls and, things like that, fleshing it out. I have the understep and the overstep I need to take care of. NVIDIA thing, gotta know. The chat, in case Cowboy Dandy's still going. Wasn't Cowboy Dandy saying S game? Check out my thing the last time. He was saying it's an S game, we quit. La, 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 la. It won't let me shorten your name, LOL. Howdy's Feckler? Feckler. It won't let me shorten your name when he puts feck. Thinks it's a swear word, right? Yep, right. NVIDIA thing? Well, I was blocked. I said it already. Oh, there you are. Good, a clan advertisement. Tired of playing solo? Probably. Are you in a dead clan? Could be. I'm in a dead clan. It's just me. Oh, ready for action, laughs, and epic adventures? Sure am. Join. Get off my lawn. I was trying to read that ahead there. Gomel, Province Ancien, Salius. Oh, so that's the North American server? No, Ancien is Salius. That's the North American one, isn't it? No. We're grumpy old time. Once you log in, you don't see it. Then you got to look back and you got to look up things. And AI tells you faster than any other way when you search it on a browser. AI just tells you. Where grumpy old timers have the most fun. We offer clan scheduled activities and team cohesion. They talk. Well, there is talking. Come see for yourself. Join our Discord. It's always a Discord. And become part of the action. You play solo, play together, get into shenanigans and have fun, make memories. Shenanigans! Hold it. Isn't that Nassimans? Nassiman says shenanigan. Poseidon. 1975. Maybe they're next gen. Maybe they're 5 years younger than me. My birthday's at the end of the month. It is a great time to be me. It's messed up for right now. Mine does it too. Hello, morning. What else did I miss? Nothing. Okay, so they didn't pump up everything. Pump up the jam. Pump it up. Yeah, Cowboy Dandy. I think that guy was, well, maybe there's another Cowboy Dandy. That's just Dandy. Anyway, I gotta get these walls corrected. Gotta get my walls corrected. Make a nice little chimney. Ventilation. The smoke only goes up so high, so I'll set it for that to make sure it's not interfering with my business. Oh, there you go, just fall. Anyway, ooh, 300, damn. It's that hamburger guy. He does the hamburger reviews. He bites into the hamburgers. Damn! I love that guy. I think he died. Terrible. So anyway, one thing I want to get to before I muck around a little is proving something. Let's prove something. I like proving things. I like facts. Opinions and small talk. So while I was pumping these up, it was telling me I might not have enough plots to renew my other plots. I went over the test server, renewed several plots there, extended their time, extended the grace, since I had under 30 days grace on a plot, down to 4. I could have done it at 29. I extended it by 400 grace. I also extended some 4-day plots and everything like that. And it's a lot of fun because I like the fact that you can set it ahead. I think a lot of people want to rage quit because they forgot to do that. A lot of people want to rage quit because they show back up and all they have is a bunch of floating storage. You know how many people that pisses off? 100%, including me. But to be pissed off at the right person is what is essential. There is the auto-renew. There's all sorts of ways. And I know there's some funky stuff. Because if you say, I want to get more tokens from right here, man. From right here. I will prove tomorrow that Garrett, who's not facing the camera right now, is connected on the Steam. She has paid before. Somewhere along the way, Steam said, no, 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 no. Since I don't want to do anything accidentally here, except buy more tokens. I don't want to accidentally subscribe. So let me purchase these. Now, it used to just keep on rolling. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Keep that doggy rolling. It might time out again. It should time out again, and it should do it in a way that isn't... I could refresh the page. So, and it should give me the message. No, it didn't. Last time it actually gave you a message that said, you cannot make a purchase. So I'm not going to go so far. Anyway, you can jump over here to your account, which I'm not going to do, because it jumps me into a screen with a bunch of personal information, and I have a little thing prepared for that to do it. So that those who just like, okay, man, it gives me this screen, and then something doesn't happen. Broken promises, oh, right? And then you have to look up Spire, saying, apologies. Steam just is giving us a hard time. So they have the Epiousios. Well, you're going to go into your account page, and you're going to see that your Steam account's connected. You're going to see the opportunity to manage subscriptions. You're going to click on those managing subscriptions, and you're going to get the Epiousios option, right? Now, it will remember your information. It can do PayPal, and it does this Skrill or whatever. Is that a Bitcoin or something, or the other thing? The cybercoins, whatever. Anyway, but it's crypto coin, but you know, I'm not quite sure. Might be, and it will do just a straight up credit card. If you just gotta use fake money, you're not gonna time out. Okay. It also says G down here on the refresh page, and it was on the test server. There are differences, and it's not the mothership because mainframe plays their own version on their own computers. They say it all the time. They cannot repeat our issues. They can't always repeat our issues. And I suspect that issues do come with different builds. I think they do. I could be very wrong because I do not code video games. In fact, there are two types of studios out there. Yes, that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about technical things. Don't look at me, Garrett. So, there's two types of studios out there. There are studios that make their own game engine. Yes, and you know them, and they're famous. But we're not going to go down that list. Blizzard, we're not going to go down that list. You know, RSI, Star Citizen, right? We're not going to go down that list. WoW, we're not going to go down that list. Which is different things, you know, and different makers, which is still Blizzard. But, you know, and there's Bethesda, excuse me, which it just works. And now, you know, their ownership is looking at them and having Obsidian, Crimson Desert. Is that they're the same guys that do Black Desert, right? They have the Black's Cube or whatever they call it. I don't keep up on all this stuff, but I do read, and sort of, you know, I read a lot. Anyway, to try, you know, just to wrap around what's going on with Pax Dei. I really don't. I'm not concerned with what's going on with. You got to get more copper, girl. You gotta get more copper. Does it take? Have you guys gotten that one yet? I say it like I'm not here. Right. Charcoal to make bronze. I hope you enjoy that. Hold it. I need those. Come here. But charcoal got cheaper. It did. Okay. Let's get some sand going. Sand! We have a living market. One thing, a couple things do work about Pax Dei, despite mainframe. And that's not a criticism of mainframe. Mainframe, as I started before, quivers, the way the hair sits, horses, the different anchors for the body. We had anchor extensions in Second Life. You could put the hair, the hat, and a dealy bob, and then you can add an anchor because we made additional anchor frames. People did it. You know, I didn't do it. Other people did it before I ever figured out how to do it, so why do it myself? But you could buy them. You could go to this maker's operation in Second Life, in that world, and what do I have in here? Ooh, I forgot about that. And buy it from them. Or I have scripting books. I had all sorts of stuff for Second Life. I could go about making it myself. And you basically just use GIMP for everything. GIMP sounds like such a dirty word. I can't help it. It's just called GIMP. I need another case. There's a lot of things I need. And that's kind of what drives... Not actually. That is what drives Pax Dei forward, isn't it? Need. It's needs. It's a sneed. Everybody needs a sneed. Needs a sneed. I'm moving things down here. We got to pack it in here. Well, there's going to be a floor above me. You can see the walls. They need to be structured out. Now that I know how they're going to sit and the space they're going to take up, then you rebuild everything. And of course, when you get better walls, you rebuild them again. Joy of joys. You can play with your magic nose goblins. Sorry. Oh, that was Ren and Stimpy for anybody who might be wondering exactly what's going on. All right. Oh, dang. I got rid of... Did I get rid of the other... That's a very nice meeting with the road there. That took a little while to do. I think it's very nice. I think not screwing up the road for people is essential. I do. I really do. Thank you. Now, I put a grace plot over on... I might put a different plot down here to do some refrigeration. Yeah, the boat's just for the pond, I guess. Oh, did these guys fully disappear now? Their chests are gone too, perhaps. Anyway. People do move. I do want to put a refrigerator down here. Anybody else move down here that I can't see? It's funny when you go and look for a plot and you're like, oh, it's the perfect place. Which, this is just for a cooler. And I'll be looking at it very soon. Right, Garrett? Yes. Gotta have a cooler. I love, love, love a cooler. I really love a cooler. I mean, I just find it it's a simulator. I find it gross if we don't, if we're just leaving meat out. I mean, we gotta kill thousands of boar before we get anywhere. And we're not gonna eat all that so quickly. I try to eat as much boar as possible, though. Oh, I forgot I had an extension over here. I have a lot to do. I have a lot to stone to put down. And that gets kind of rude and boring. It just gets rude and boring, walking around, doing random things. Oh, that's one thing I have to do. We gotta find out where the homesteader is. Yes, yes. Very important. Es muy importante. The clan. One thing I think is funny about clans is that when you're not part of a clan, you can look up all the clans that exist. You can see how many there are, who they are. You can look up names. Well, you can send an invite, but that's kind of like saying, hey, I'm here. I just want to talk to you. Don't invite me. But once you're in a clan, that's you. You don't get anything else. You can confirm, you can check your members, you know, villager. I want to demote you. Can I demote you yet? Yes. Demote. Homesteader. I want to see what this does as a thing. Well, why? Just so I could say I did. And when people complain in Discord, I can say, well, you didn't watch my video. Catnap has been demoted to Homesteader. Does that put that in open chat? That's pretty wild. No, okay, that's just to me. That's just to me. I was getting kind of like, hold it. Aha, you got demoted. Everybody knows. Anyway, so when Catnap gets on, something special happens. As the permissions have changed. And those who are amongst us, this rotting meat, those who are amongst us, soon in this trial, the Pax Dei trial, of 7 days, are probably going to start wondering about joining a clan and being a homesteader. So, anyway, I was too busy paying attention. Let's go to something with less attention. So, you'll notice private, public, clan, all. Villagers and up, clan. Elders and up, clan. Aldermen only, clan. Where's the homesteader? Homesteaders all. So, you're not going to see yourself. Or, you might think, well, is that actually an effect? Well, yes. I guess they could say homesteaders up instead of all. Just so you can have homesteaders somewhere to remind people it's there. Otherwise, it's only the person setting ranks in the chat. Or, excuse me, let me check something. Now, when I look up my clan, I should be able to see that I'm a homesteader as Catnap. No biography available. I went through I went through the desert on a horse with no name. Oh, that's right, I gotta build some path across here. Yes. Garrett's designs. Johan always gets rid of them. Fast. A little bit of mania. It strikes me how tall things have to be so the smoke isn't coming up to the floors, or at least if the smoke is coming up to the floors, it's coming up through a proper place that you would expect to see it. There's also a bit of hoarding. Hoarding is when you see a stone structure like this, which are pretty useless during an attack or siege. You'd be like, really, they are? Well, right, they were so useless that they would build wooden structures around them that extended outward, protected the soldiers much better, and they could drop things, and they had a much higher degree of attack when it came to arrows, projectiles, and other things. The ladders would be farther off the wall and could be addressed in different ways, but of course someone could set them afire. They still built them until the very end, and remove them when not such a problem was about. Just the way they did it. Many people think people back then weren't as educated, perhaps, or didn't have the worldly knowledge we have now. Actually, they did. About their only problem was creating enough heat to make the metals that we find very normal now, and all sorts of chemical situations and things like that. That's the only thing that really limited them. The concepts, shoot, all the way back in the 1800s or something, they had the concept of a drone, and that was basically just a balloon that would, release a cylinder of basically a napalm-like substance in a glass container, though, so it wasn't as how do you say, stable as napalm. And I'll tell you, with protective gear and lack of latex back then, oof, duh. Getting to know your yard, getting to know all about your yard. That's one thing that's great about Pax Dei. Where you start isn't some far off location where you have to walk a distance. Now, if you want wrought iron and stuff like that, yeah, you usually gotta walk a distance, unless you just put yourself there. Hey guys. I know, pretty extreme. That was easier. But with the iron around you, I'm sure, well, I don't find enough. Well, no, especially if people build there. That gets rid of some, but we all know this. But those who are joining up in a trial are going to be walking in, and we're not talking about all the people who already own Pax Dei. I need to find my Steam keys. I gave one away, I located it once, but now I can't for the life of me remember where it was, so I actually put in a ticket for that. Now, I'm not in Selene a lot, so I don't recognize a lot of the names coming up. But Cowboy Dandy, that's got to be someone different. Unless they're on both servers, and they're rage quitting both servers. Well, it was just somebody, somebody was writing stuff last night and everything, and apparently they've been doing it for like 10 hours or longer, a few days. Here we go. 126. There's nothing. Newer structures popping up. I absolutely adore it. Garretina, I got to start getting things together for her adventures. One, it's getting her up in nice enough clothes. But I'll keep the nature of her business under my hat. I need to build more metal objects. I need to be able to get more brass buckles. Am I gonna find any door in copper? I forgot where it was down here. It might be over there. I could cheat. Well, actually, if you do use one of the interactive maps, they're not up to date. Not picking up stone is just silly. I mean, you don't have to do anything to do it. Look at that! Achievement! Well, man, I'm going to pick up a lot more tin until I start finding copper. I think I made a map of a couple things around here. As I pursue these around, I should be able to find copper up here. And that's where I'm going. I collected more tin last time. But getting some bronze going. Once you get bronze going, and get yourself enough storage space, a lot of people look around and they say, well, iron is hard to find. Yeah, you'll find a bit of it in the home valleys, and it all depends on where you are. I know Tolosa decently well, so even though I haven't had much time to spend here, going this way, I'm going to go around the back way. There's going to be evil boars. Evil boars. They're so boring. Then I need to come back through here and grab clay and rocks. Oh, so it is just a loop, just this continuous grind loop. Well, okay, so an arcade game, an arcade MMO, yes, I'm being insulting, an arcade MMO, which entertains the vast majority of consumers of MMO, that's parallel play, for one. Let me just start there. That's not playing together. That's parallel play. And you're all tuning in to make certain achievements, go out and grab a certain number of something, whether it was, all the cloth and the weird stuff back in WoW, or whatever they're doing, never cloth and everything else back then, and everything else they're doing now, it doesn't matter. It's all just a loop where you're getting on and doing stuff, so that's not the situation. So what could possibly be the situation with the grind in Pax Dei? Well, I guess most of the arcade games, what you're grinding for there is things that make you glow more. Because, raising how many hit points, the damage per minute, or anything else that you're dealing with. Well, yeah, that too. But that happens here. Maybe things aren't as flashy. I've noticed people who say, Pax Dei is embarrassing. Yeah, well, when your fanciest moves in a game are the combat moves, and you just either run or you do combat moves. Social moves, what, a dance or you hop in place? Well, Pax Dei has social moves. I couldn't even say hi to Mr. Noodle. I love that. Mr. Noodle from Sesame Street. It's Mr. Noodle! But it's Noodle's Tavern next to me. I absolutely appreciate how many emotes we have, even though the waving is right down here. That took me a minute. I was like, isn't it a priority? We have all these. And of course, in other games you do not, unless you're playing Space Engineers. They got, or Industrio or something. No, Space Engineers. Or no, is it Industrio? That has you dancing in place and doing a jig and stuff. For nobody. Those are co-ops. Dun-dun-dun. You should get all the windmills going. Of course, that's physically impossible. They'd run into each other. What have you done? The blinking. Hi, guys. The blinking oars. Oars renew, they refresh when you approach. They've been blinking forever. And sometimes, see, like right there, it causes different phases of movement. And they're kind of interconnected right here. So we might see it for that. Sometimes you get the whole one. That's been happening since the very beginning. So, you know, the server moving at 30 frames per second. That's a Grollo thing. And I'm doing 60. I've seen it forever. On so many different things. So I was in Second Life for 15 years. We made all our own stuff. Oh, yes, yes, come here. Oh, come on. Got them both! Love it. The stones help me. The Skinner's trade. I got that reward. I missed it before finishing it. Eltari quickly scanned through because they have maxed out characters. So I'm sure they gained a lot of rewards. I mean, out of all the rewards possible, how many are there? Achievements, excuse me. With rewards, 289. Now, I'm sure if you're someone who has played and dungeoned and built and been as active as Eltari, there's the temples, right? 1,000 grace. There's people who've been through all that. They just have. That's, yeah, I didn't focus on that. You know, they just move forward. I could have been one of them. I could have just kept one character and moved forward the whole time and been generally maxed out, except hand to hand, I guess, since that's the newest thing. I could have been all maxed out. Yay! You know, didn't want to be. Well, why? Because everything's changing. Everything. I just don't want to be. You know, the Pax Dei could be around. Well, if it isn't all screwed up, like I said, it was proposed at 5.7. Riding horses, which, what, are we supposed to feed them and all that? We're probably going to have to go simpler when it comes down to the big hinge and what started me even talking about it. Because 5.7 was released in September 2025. And it had been presented as a coming thing. I need to find more copper. Presented as a coming thing, tin becomes precious. In fact, tin is one of the most precious metals on Earth. Check it out. During the Bronze Age, there's a lot of copper. In fact, there's a lot of gold compared to anything else. But tin was very rare. What's that British drama? Poldark. You know, it had the. I found out the guy who played the dwarf in the Lord of the Ring thing, but who had the elf love interest. But anyway, the big deal there is that was a mighty industry. You need tin to blend with metals. Nearly all of them. So its importance truly can't be understated. Once you get up into construction and things like that, I've heard from the experienced builders who have maxed everything out. Even Eltari mentioned it in one of his videos where he said tin becomes very important in your upper tier building materials. So I take his word for it. Riveting. I need more copper, though. Should be running into a piggy around here. I know they get jumpy. That's tin. Man, there's so much tin down here. Copper's around the way. Hi, guys. We had so many people move into REITs that the that the Bucks were like in a chain of 12. I mean, it was ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Well, okay, not ridiculous if you needed that, no. Those are level 2, the pheasants that squeal at you. I think they bump into structures, they can get stuck in trees. Watch where you shoot them. You might not find them. You better eat up, kid. You're gonna run into more pigs. The pigs. Are you hiding in the roots now? Now, Willie, I tell you, and I thank you for being here. While I am keeping these to an hour, it is to watch how much time. Google, who had said they timed me out on, you know, how long my ID, because either, you know, when you start a new channel, you get a 2-month period. If you put in your ID or satisfy other conditions that are more than just sitting around for 2 months, doing nothing, that they're supposed to open up some things. Well, a couple only got partially open. Seems there's some hinges. In fact, I've had a couple messages from YouTube that goes out to all people who produce content for them that, yeah, it's your turn, that they've been having problems. Like I can't answer posts through Studio, and you're supposed to be able to. Couldn't answer Flow when he had put a post up. It's kind of extreme. I gotta get up in that light gear so I can make the leather gear. And I can beat up on the baddies to start getting gold in order to earn grace. It is ridiculous to me when some say, well, this is just this stupid little grind cycle. I don't see how it's like, well, no, it's not like any other arcade game. It's a simulator, low fantasy simulator. And they want to keep reality. The game mechanics just don't allow it. Like I said, they basically proposed a 5.7. By the way, if I hadn't said it live before, Unreal Engine is free to use. You could get a copy of it. Really, anybody else listening could get a copy of Unreal Engine. Whether you'll know what to do with it or not, that's another thing. In fact, a lot of people do get into Unreal Engine. They say, look at me, I made a game. Well, where's the story? And all that. Well, that's where the coding comes in. And while I say that Second Life could do everything, it really could, many other games could too. But those, like Myth of Empires, is that Unreal? That might be Unreal. And there's the other one by Epic. Uh-huh. Made you snap back, huh, Piggy? But, the stereo works great. I mean, I have stereo speakers in front of me in this monitor. They're 12 volt. Hey, Foxy. I will be looking for you later. You do need a couple small skins. You can get them all from rabbits. I don't know if there's anything in particular you need to get from a fox. I don't think there's any call for their carcass for any kind of cooking or any other particular thing, so I really just don't even bug them. Lucky them. Now, if the Divine makes them fart gold, well, then they are all dead. There's copper around here somewhere. You. Yes, you. It would have been easier if I could have gone through the accounting stuff in this tonight. It just shows too much personal information. There are some steps. It's kind of weird. As you said before, Willie, you know, your dad pays for it. I'm not sure. Pays for it through Exolia, I think you said. A lot of people used to pay through Steam. That was actually a big turnoff to a lot of people. A lot of people did not take up the new method. They just stopped. And I remember reading about those. Unlike other people, I actually search terms in Discord. So, you know, I say a lot of nice stuff in Discord. I really, I find it unfortunate when I see an unanswered question, and there's so many people on Discord who answer every question by making it about themselves. Every question they answer, they're just simply, they're not really reading, they're just trying to insert themselves, and talk about themselves. In fact, I only participate in one YouTube channel. Most people participate in 5 or more, and they're just flipping from one to the next, basically getting dopamine hits. They read other people's posts until one makes them feel, you know, chemically needing to answer. Like, it's just full of small talk and junk for the most part. Mainframe is silly to entertain stacks and stacks and stacks of new ideas. They haven't even accomplished what they set out to do. They haven't even reached the game engine they set out proposing to do it in. To constantly entertain whatever player desires are brought from other games. Well, as Peter said, it's so hard to test our ideas in other games because they don't exist. So apparently, Rainier, who put EVE Online together, and remembers the first demo. The first demo, he said, was ridiculous because all you had a ship and an asteroid. No one's impressed with that. Well, the website you can, recurring sums in Steam you can't, right. Spire said that is broken. Steam is not designed to do it. That's another thing. Plots. In the old days, when you grab someone else's plot, it would change exactly... It's gonna get loud here. Oh, you see? Around the back. No. It's a brand new pair of shorts, buddy. But... What was I saying? But he said, they used to, but it broke. Somewhere... No, they didn't, but it broke. But the plot things, I'm trying to remember, because it's gone back and forth. But Spire, I believe, nailed it down. He hasn't said 3 or 4 things. Spire, male or female, I don't really know, but it doesn't matter. But said it once. No, Steam doesn't really work on the reoccurring thing. Though it did work for a while. It did. I had a few months of it working, and then it all shut down. Hold it. I attracted 2 of them. Where's the other one? There he is. Ah, you chicken. Now, do I care? No, I don't. I wanted to stop subbing. Because I believe the tokens are a better price. If you want To earn that extra, though, subscriptions are a better price. They are. Subscribing for the bonus and buying tokens, well, I have the bonus for a while, and so I had to decide to stop paying for it monthly. Because on the old thing, you paid for the bonus, period. I don't think it was a... Well, no, it's not a choice. It isn't. It is not a choice. Well, let's get back on that. Before I have to wrap this bad boy up, it is not a choice. Getting more tokens. Premium plot. It's premium plus a plot. Premium plus 2 plots. Premium plus 4 plots, and so on and so on. When I did the calculations of the cost of 8 plots plus the subtraction of the $3.99 a month out of each of these, which is $31 for 8 plots, it's a better deal with tokens at $42.49 for 10. And doing up all the math, I thought the bonus was moving me forward too fast after they eased up on the crafting tables. Before, just for example, any of the bakery stuff, you basically had to make 2 rows to move up in skill. They quit that. At the alchemy table, you had to make 3 full stacks, you know, not a row, but 3 full stacks of any of the tinctures you would make to move up. In blacksmithing, you had to make pretty much 8 axes and 8 picks and a couple other spare things to move up. When you got to iron, in which I got to wrought iron in verse 1, so I know that it has been that difficult all along. So I was very used to that. They cut that way down. Cut that way down. Now you hardly have to build all that at all. And, well, I didn't need the bonus. You know, that's what they kind of did. I didn't need to move that fast through everything. And it's a bit better. Yeah, quite a bit better. No, I never wanted to make that much stuff, but I never had to make what other people were saying, like a case of spears or whatever you use, the first armor piece. Never had to do that. And I was always trying to explain how I magically got past this, you know, this need to do that. Never understood it. And I never could repeat the need. I could never do that. It just never happened. I was always able, well, I don't want to create 3 stacks of potions. Well, it's whatever, you know. Oh, look at that guy. That's cheating. Yeah, pigs. But, anyway. Yeah, that's my perspective. Other people did not see it that way. And that became their big thing. This thing's stupid because I have to grind out all that stuff. But it basically falls into the same reasoning as the chap who came on and said, hey, I wanted to make a construction hammer. I hit craft all on accident. I wish there was a button to cancel that. You don't need a button. You just need to have a good humor. If you keep adding buttons, if you keep adding all these different ways, and yeah, there's these people, they want a custom button for everything. They've been piling on mainframe. There's people who want alchemy and witchcraft and pagan worship. Mainframe wrote a lore that doesn't include pagan worship. That's why when they named everything these old dead pagan gods that little areas all over the European history worship, it made no sense because none of them. Okay, Avalon is in Lioness, and I know Eltari was like, this is King Arthur and all that. That's a fable, not pagan worship. Even if it was in the game, which isn't mentioned in the lore, we can go through that. And we will, because no one else is. Even though Altari's promised to do it, he has a wiki. So I let it go for quite a while. But you're gonna see a sudden appearance of that. This is one of the reasons I've taken it easier on all the live plays, because I was like, oh dang, now I don't have enough time to do all the extra stuff I want to do. And I gotta get everybody up so I can go to the dungeon nights. If they'll have me. Oh, not you. You're evil. Yes, I should be fun. Alright, coming up the other side of the hill here. Should find more copper. Yeah, it's up there. I think there's some down here. Get to know your yard. Yeah, I have been approached by people in game who say, hey, do you know where I can find? And it's behind me, and there's lots of it. And I'm like, you need to get around your yard more, but I don't want to judge. Judging sucks. I'm as guilty as not knowing where things are as anybody else could possibly be. In fact, I like walking around the yard and going, oh look, I never knew that was there. Now, the rewards, the achievements thing kind of washes away quick, doesn't it? Even if you're coming in late. Now, everybody else is going to start from the beginning. Ooh, it's been a long time since a lot of us have started from the beginning. Now, I've done it several times. And some of you have built alternate characters. Willie, I can't remember if you said you built an alternate character. I think people should do it. They should use their character slots. Use them or lose them, I say. Because maybe Mainframe will say, people don't like it. But a lot of people do, so I don't think they will. Yeah! Yeah, I did, but I couldn't keep it up. I'm being lazy about catnap here. Very lazy. Because I want to get Garrett to Carpentry 20. And, then beyond. And then I can have catnap doing stuff. Started over from a character that was a lot of levels. Yeah, it was hard. Right? All of a sudden you're like, a stone axe? I'm bulletproof when it comes... Man, I'll tell you, I'm so bulletproof when it comes to Pax Dei. But I still notice... Well, yeah, starting the grind over again. You know how many times I've done it. You know I've made it through... We've only had 3 total wipes? Only 3 total wipes, I think. So, I've rebuilt everybody. That's why I only get to level 20. This time I'm just being slow. And life got busy. So, fine. I don't mind a busy life. No, not you. I'll come out with the arrows for you. Come here, pig. But, yeah, starting at the bottom. It goes a lot faster now, though. Oh, man. I'll tell you what, starting from the bottom now is a different experience than it was verse 4. Before full release. Starting everybody off in Dolavon in verse 3, and we didn't keep anything. Everything went to the recovery queue. Yeah, I lost a lot of... Well, okay, I can say I lost. Well, we were planned on not being there anyway, so I really didn't lose. I had gained a lot of stuff by the time we wiped. So that redemption queue mattered. Skills, though? I hadn't gone any higher than 20 again in all my characters. And some less, not more. Well, of course, 22 and 23 in mining and stuff. Now I do something different where I just don't build an alternate. If I just had catnap, and I guess I'd make just another catnap, or maybe a Garretina, or maybe I'd make catnap a little waifu, and I leave the waifu back in the home valley to manage that stuff. You know, go around, do the chores, keep things going. And what would they do? You know, they would do what, you know, Garrett began doing with Johan when I first started Celine with the home front, and did quite a few episodes of that. And that's the experience she came here with, which wasn't much. You know, it wasn't much at all. Johan, who I erased, and he shouldn't have, was much farther along. But I knew they were rebuilding the crafting. Now they're going to do it again. They're going to do alchemy, and a few other things. And they're going to move a lot of stuff forward. They have to create it. They have to craft it. I don't think they're buying any assets. Or they should just dang well buy trees and jump forward to 5.7. They've already gone through all this stuff. And I gotta get out of here. But, because I don't want to make it too long, or it'll just take too long to come up, Willie. And as soon as it gets better on that, they were slow before too. Oh dang it didn't turn. So it's just that they're taking so long to go up, and they're large. I do record in 4K. It's definitely difficult to pick up a particular subject because there's so many things to cover when it comes to Pax Dei. Alright, let's get out of here. Oh, you guys. Oh, I'm disappointed. Come here. They still got the chunk out of me. Boars get boring. That's one thing I wanted to point out today. You know, in this third little episode this week, that it's about this upcoming 7-day trial for the most part. Because most everything is known that I'm going through by everybody who plays. There are 160,000 people estimated who own Pax Dei, which isn't a lot. That's not a lot. Game sales all set. It's just yeah, I can cut apart that interview with Dana. Willie, if you ever want to watch an interview, that one, Danneh, Dana. And he did it with Peter and Rainier. I think it was 2 years ago. I will repeat before I go. It is, oh, the wrong bloody way is what we've done. But it is totally, if you want to hear where Mainframe's mind is, it is very easy between those two there in that interview. And I have moved forward with what they said there. That's what's been important to me. Where did I put my houses? There they are. I've moved forward from that, saying, well, that's what they said, that's what they wanted, and no matter what people have thrown at them once and how they're a scam, I mean, really, I've never said anything like that. But most of the people who are nice, they're not even being realistic, which isn't nice. That's deceptive. Hey, I'm saying things. You've got to accept what I say, and I'll accept what you say. And that's bull. Nobody gets anywhere with that kind of BS. You know, and criticism isn't going, well, you suck. Criticism is saying, Mainframe already tried this and it didn't work. Oh, you just think you're smarter than us. No, I just quoted mainframe, you dirtbags. Anyway, so I unblocked everybody for the 7th month. I always unblock people. I just block them to get them off my radar. I really don't permanently block anybody. I don't think. There are people who are repeat people on that block. And they'll be back there again. They can't help themselves. You know? It's just when you're on Discord, you have people who make it all about them. And you're asking a question. You're quoting mainframe and asking a question. They come on and they start not liking the fact that you're quoting mainframe and asking a question. It's like, you know, some Johnny-come-lately who's like, yes, last month I decided to take up my stand here. And it's like, dude. Or you got these, you know, the community champions. I call them the communist chumpions. Those guys are always on my block list. Always. The community champions are always on my block list. They're the most offensive and bigoted group of people I have ever met in my life. You can ask a question and then they'll attack you. Are you using a translator? Your English is funny. I mean, they are the worst. And I have nothing for them. I have nothing for them. So I unblock them. 7 weeks, 7 months. It could be the 7th day of the month or have a 7 in it. I unblock people. But they're always back there. There's a bunch of people that ignore me. So if I want to give someone a thumbs up and I find out they've ignored me, I block them. Isn't that what they want? I give them what they want. Wouldn't want to let them down. What, do they think they can read my opinion while ignoring me? Sorry. No. Hey, you got to parlay, go both ways. All right. Homeward bound, I wish I was. Can I stab one? No. Homeward bound, home, where my thoughts escape me. Home, where the music takes me. Something like that. Home, where my love lies waiting quietly for me. I'm no Simon Garfunkel. Or Paul Simon, or where are you? Art Garfunkel. Come on. Other side? Aha! I got a long enough spear. I might as well be able to shish kebab the boar. I need them there points. People get bored of this. I don't want to have to kill as many boar. Okay, so how do you get the crafting right? How many should you have to kill? How many should each boar make? Yeah, we don't even get the amount of meat, maybe. Oh, you saw those? No, okay, never mind. I thought I was getting them. But it wasn't. Yeah, that's a lot of boar. This could feed people for a long time. That's right. Is it the bone? Bad to the bone. I don't need you. No, I do. Anyway, one thing I never mentioned. Oh, he's still got the floating stuff. You're gonna get stabbed. Come here. Where are you? Darn. There's still some floating stuff. Did they reclaim the lot? Yeah, they did. See, some people probably get real ticked off. Daniela's. It could be Danielle. It could be a Dan. But people probably get really ticked off when they come back and all their stuff is gone. So I hope they meant. You know, I wouldn't want to walk up to someone's plot and say, oh, look, this is fine and that's fine. I really don't do that. Now get away from me. Well, your choice. I mean, I never want people to think I'm saying, "Aha, they didn't." I'm not into other people losing stuff. I don't laugh at other people. It's not my thing. Inventory, you know, never mind. Pax Day is a place where we're supposed to play together. The arcade games are parallel play. That's like kindergarten children. You know, as long as you don't touch my toys, we're cool. You know, I'm playing with the dinosaurs today. You know, we fought over that. We stood in the corner over that yesterday. So let's be nice and parallel play. That's not Pax Day. You can parallel play. Yeah, and people do all day. They get on Discord and they complain about their troubles with that. You know, they complain about the trouble with their parallel play. That they can't do this and they can't do that. And there's not enough of these. And there's not an extra button, you know, and all these other things. And then you have the people who play in clans, who might be parallel playing in clans, not really doing much with each other. And they're wondering, where'd all my clanmates go? I have no one to talk to. Well, you weren't going to do anything with each other. I found it difficult because I'm always doing so much stuff. I was like, well, okay, a lot of people are playing together, and I want to be ready to go to a dungeon because every time someone asks me, I don't have anything. And they're like, here, I'll give you stuff. I personally hate that. Hate with a passion people wanting to give me things. Because they're just going to hand me junk they made a case of to grind up. Or they're just going to be like, well, here, I'll make it right away for you. That's not the point. That's not the point. I don't dig that. I don't go for it. It's just too difficult for me. I'm too proud. No, I want to play my own dang game. I want to be, you know, they earned it themselves. What's wrong with me earning it myself? You know, I hate giving people stuff that are mobs that mostly likely going to quit, right? You know, I gave a Steam key away, just so someone else said my friend won't play unless they got a Steam key. Well, yeah, I'm a sucker, and I gave him the Steam key. But people came on while I was first in Dolabon, where they wanted to fill my free bins full of stuff. They wanted to endlessly make things for me and give them to me, you know, and there's people who run around saying, I just get stuff for free, gimme, gimme, gimme. We had all those types on Dolabon as neighbors. One was using all the cheat keys but hated the game because things weren't where the cheat keys said they'd be. I used the hidden gaming layer. That gets out of date, and I think the locations are sent to him by players. So if they're not doing that, it's not happening. There's a lot of stuff like that. I like doing it myself. I like opening the recipes myself. I like finding it myself. If I can't, I like asking somebody without a bunch of bull. I think that's getting more and more possible. I think chat is getting a lot better. I think. And shoot, I don't regret being able to see more of it. And that's usually the first thing I regret about chat. Oh great, now I can see more of it. Well, I don't feel that way this time. We'll see if my feelings turn into facts. Now, a lot of people, I've had people who think I'm toxic. I don't see it that way. And I'll tell you, I always ask myself, was that a narcissistic thing? And so I'm not a narcissist. Because I question that sort of thing. I make a whole bunch of videos to promote Pax Day. It's caused me nothing but trouble. And that's just the way it is. Is Pax Day still worth it? Yeah. Is mainframe a pain in the butt? I think they just don't have the same work ethic as other people who have greater work ethics. But maybe they do. The first thing Peter said in that video by Dana is the one I love everybody to hear. It's hard. That's what he says. It's hard. It's impossible. It's difficult. We've set something before ourselves that we cannot accomplish. He admits it. They don't know where to go. And you can tell Rainier is sitting there going, oh God, do you have to say that? I mean, really. The guy in chat, while Rainier was making a face while Peter was talking, a guy in chat said, the blonde guy, Rainier, looks like he needs to take a... He did not use the word poop. I still find it one of the funniest things, because I was reading the chat, which is very tiny above Dana's head, and Rainier looked very uncomfortable. And he noticed that, and he decided to speak. He must have noticed it. I do not see how he could not have. But he handled it like a bloody champ, took it right on the nose, and went forward with what he had to say. It's a good talk, and it really sets down what our expectations should have been back then and what they should be now. I don't think Mainframe's done themselves any favors by saying, yeah, all these other ideas. It hasn't gotten them anywhere. If they actually spent the whole time saying, no, we're doing this and then we'll move forward. No, we're not going to do that. Or it's not possible. Plots. When you used to put down a plot, the round circle used to move. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't move anymore, except by server shifts of maybe 1,000, which you can still lose pieces. But keep stuff off the line. Or just get used to it, really, because it's not going to be so bad. As long as it's not outside that extra margin area, not the circle itself. But in the past, when you connect to another person's plot, you could really mess up their property because their circle would shift, sometimes obscenely, and they'd lose anything they put on the edge. And they wouldn't like you anymore if they could attest that, if they could see that you were the reason. And if you even knew you were the reason, because it would happen on the other side of their structure, and you'd just be happy to have found a place. So, you know, there's a whole lot of that. And that's what's going to hit people on a 7-day trial. These are going to be new people who have not bought Pax Dei before, or they returned it, I guess. But there's 160,000 people, 800 of which, maybe 1,200. I mean, on consoles, on Epic, which is, or the Unity engine, excuse me. Epic is the Unreal, but Unity by, what's their fangs? But, or I have that all wrong. But anyway, people are playing on other things when it comes to PC, console, the Game Pass thing. Xbox is all shaken up, but they're trying to survive. We have different ways. I don't know what those counts are. Is it over 2,000? Under 10,000 on any game is bad. MMOs, it's not very good. You need to make enough money to keep things going. So hopefully when they start this trial, it's permanent. You will have 7 days for, you know, this offer, that is, until the end of Pax Day. So there's that. Alright, Willie, glad you showed up. Garrett's looking as nonplussed as ever. They're improving. They're improving. You gonna look up? Kinda. Yeah, kinda. Good enough for me. Alright. I'm gonna have AI create a thumbnail, but I should start taking better thumbnails. I'm using AI to create thumbnails. One, just to mess around with AI. I've done it for years. One of the reasons a chunk of it exists. But that's a different story. Anyway. Don't fear AI. Fear what it's reading, which is what we wrote. Yeah, I will have a good night. You too, Willie. Take care. Still prayers for your mom. Pray every day is something better for her. And your dad too, of course. Can't leave him out of it. At all. Anybody else who catches us, thank you for catching us. 7 p.m. every night, the Lord is willing. Which means every night, because the Lord is willing. Take it easy. Good night, Willie. Garrett. Too good a mood.